Okay. Back again. I think we're still playing as Ophelia now, still. So, let's go back. Um, okay. Yeah, so okay. Last time we're doing the murder plans. So, the last thing we did is we decided to kill everyone. Okay, so she's gonna kill Osric. So last time we killed everyone in the court. This time let's just kill our dad and brother. You burst into your family's quarters to find your father, Polonius, and your brother Laertes sitting there. I went to France, you tell him. Cancelled my trip when I learned that human consciousness can survive the death of a body, Laertes says. That was kind of a big deal. Oh, hey, Ophelia, says Polonius. Speaking of that, you won't believe this, but the ghost of the king wants me to kill you, and then I'll get ghost powers. You didn't agree to it, though, right? You ask, since I'm your daughter and we're all family. Well, absolutely, we're family and you're my daughter, but the thing is, Polonius says, drawing his sword, I always wanted sons. Laertes draws his sword as well, and I'm easily manipulated by my father and sexist too, he says. Plus, you came here to kill us, right? You don't normally come home with your sword drawn. Right, you say. Oh well, this family was always a little too big for my taste anyways. You fight, it's 2 against 1, and I hate to say it, Ophelia, but you need more practice. You're just not ready to take these guys on yet. Listen, you get killed and it's awful, and I don't even want to talk about it at the end. Okay, so there's our dad and our brother killing us. That wasn't great. Okay, so when you try again, remember that there's nothing wrong with getting a few practice murders in first. Beyond the obvious of murder being wrong, I mean. Ha ha ha, we're way past that, am I right? Way past that. Here's your mulligan. Go back a move and try it again, okay? Kill Osric. Kill the background characters in your life. Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, those gravediggers that are always slacking off, etc. one by one. So I guess we gotta pick that one. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Okay, back. Okay. So we're gonna kill the background characters. So we decided to track down these background characters and kill them one by one. You also decide to have a little conversation with each of the people you murderize because that sounds like a lot of fun. First up are the grave diggers. You catch them at night, digging a grave. Surprise! Whose grave is this, you ask? Why, it's my grave, the first gravedigger responds, because I'm the one digging it, see? Tee-hee. I use that line all the time and it never gets old. Ha hoo hee. You raise an eyebrow. Who was the grave actually for, though? Oh, it's for Ophelia. Ghost of the King says if I try to kill her and fail, then I'll get to be a ghost, and being a ghost is great. Do you know her, this Ophelia? Yeah, pretty well, you answer. She thinks she'd be pretty good at burying someone alive, but I bet you could do a better job. Oh well, probably not actually, he replies. There's not much to it. You just need to knock someone out so they don't say, like, oh look, someone's walking on your grave. Got it, you say, knocking him and his friend over the head with the flat edge of your sword, sending them into unconsciousness. Bury them together in their fresh grave, filling it up with dirt, patting the last of the dirt down with their shovel. Nobody likes being buried alive, you shout over your shoulder as you walk away. You stop in your tracks and turn around. But don't worry, in a few minutes you'll just be buried. Nice. This is awful. Okay, who's next? Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, Hamlet's friends. Marcellus, Bernardo, and Francisco, those sentry dudes. Those courtiers who are always hanging out in the royal court. Let's go after Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. You arrive at the house of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, best buds of Hamlet. They live in Rosencrantz's mom's basement. "Hello, Mrs. Rosencrantz," you say politely as she answers the door. "Are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern home?" "Yeah, they're downstairs," she says. As you walk down the stairs, you become aware of Mrs. Rosencrantz behind you carrying a large knife. "Why, Mrs. Rosencrantz, you wouldn't be planning to kill me, would you?" you say. She answers by trying to stab you in the back, but you dodge, use her own momentum against her, and send her flying down the stairs. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern look up from the game they're playing to see her body hit the landing. "That," you say as you descend and step over the mangled Mrs. Rosencrantz. 10 minutes later, after several trips carrying Rosencrantz and Guildenstern up the stairs and then pushing them down again, all that's left of them are two bruised and broken bodies. There's lifeless eyes gazing back at you. Wait, what? Why? Why were we just pushing them down the stairs over and over again? "Hey," you say, "it's not polite to stare." Two in a row. There's two people in a row down the stairs, okay? Stairmaster. Who do we want to kill next? Sentry dudes. These are all like soldier guys, so they'll be a bit harder to kill. On the other hand, you have just killed several dudes. The three of them are up on a castle parapet, looking out over the edge of the ground far below. You walk up behind them. "Hey boys, seen any ghosts lately?" you say. "Actually, yes, two of them," replies Bernardo, turning around. "And one said that if I die while trying to kill Ophelia, I'll gain ghost power." The sentence dies on his lips when he sees you. "Boo," you say. Bernardo runs at you, but you sidestep him easily and he falls over the edge of the parapet and hits the ground far below with a sickening crunch. "Leaving so soon?" you say. Marcellus and Francisco glance at each other, then run at you, their swords drawn. You duck and spin, cutting off their feet. Ooh. They fall off the edge as well, landing near Bernardo. You kick their disembodied feet off the parapet and down onto their lifeless bodies. "Go on," you say. "Shoot." Oh wow, that was a terrible pun since they weren't even wearing shoes, but we're still counting it for three in a row. Why were they not wearing shoes? All that's left of these background characters are the courtiers. These murders you've done so far have taken a while, so it's early morning now and the royal court is not in session anymore. I should tell you that the royal court hours are from midnight to 4 a.m. and noon to 6 p.m. It's weird, but whatever. No worries though, you'll just track them down and kill them individually. Let's kill the courtiers. Wow, there are a lot of courtiers. You hide out until nightfall and sneak into their houses, killing each of them in hilarious ways. While you do that, you try to imagine how you'd recount their deaths to a third party, perhaps. You reflect that one of the advantages writing has over, say, real life is that you can say things quickly without having to go into too much detail. Is it cheating your audience? I mean, it can be, you reason, but it isn't necessarily cheating. Probably my audience wouldn't want to read about dozens of grisly murders, no matter how good my one-liners are at the end. Even if I did cut off the top of someone's head so that their brains fell into their hands while I said, "Hold that thought," you add. And then I said, "Oh wow, that was just off the top of my head," you conclude. Anyway, long story short, all the courtiers are dead, and it was awesome. All that's left are Polonius and Laertes, Queen Gertrude, and a bunch of people you barely see, but who are still technically all up in your hamlet. You just had to kill those people you barely know first, so you'll be leveled up as much as possible for your climactic showdown. There's a priest who hangs around town. "Say your prayers," you say. And chef. "Try tonight's special, skewers." A few shopkeepers. "We're having a big sale on stabs this weekend, and everything must go." And some ambassadors. "I'm afraid you've been recalled to hell," and so on until the only people left are people you know. So, this is it, Ophelia. There are only three more people left to kill. Next up will be patricide and fratricide with Polonius and Laertes, or a taste of regicide with the queen herself. Try to kill our father and brother again? Will they beat us easily this time? If we killed everybody else, does that mean the queen is alone, or does she still have to kill her family? Stroll into your family's quarters, your father's there, and your brother Laertes is there too. Looks like his trip to France was postponed when he discovered that ghosts are real, huh? Dad, you say nothing to Polonius. Bro, you say nothing to Laertes. What is up? You notice Polonius and Laertes both have their swords drawn and are advancing on you. Now simmer down, fellas, you say. We're all family here, right? I'm sure if a ghost told you to murder me, you'd come talk to me about it and not attack me outright, right? Polonius's response is to jab his sword at you, parry it easily, sending his sword skittering across the room. Really, Dad? Well, Laertes, you're certainly not going to kill me, right? Laertes' response is to jab his sword at you too. It works just as well for him as it did for his father, and now both men face you unarmed. Well, it seems I have the advantage, guys. So, let me ask you a question. Do you think I look like you? Because people have always said they could see the family resemblance. No, says Laertes, and you cut off his head in 3 quick strikes. It slides off his neck and onto the floor. Really, you say, your dead brother, because I always thought when it came to me you were a dead ringer. He turned to Polonius. Imagine he worked as a bell ringer, then it's even better, you say. These aren't very good one-liners, he replies, and I say this as your father. You need, I don't know, an editor or something. I suppose I do need to make a few, you begin, but interrupted by Polonius. Don't say cuts, he says. Cuts, you say, slicing Polonius up and killing him in the process. It's been a slice, you say, but now I must blade you adieu. Polonius comes back to life long enough to say that pun is older than stale bread. It is older than the dust on stale bread. Actually, now that I think about it, and then he's dead again. Ouch, sick burns on you, Ophelia, but he's dead now, so whatever. You're going to kill everyone. Oh, sorry. There's just one thing left to do, Ophelia. I kill Gertrude. Kill the queen. You find Gertrude in the royal court alone. Ophelia, she says, greeting you coolly. I see you've had a busy night. It appears I'm the only one left alive, and if I don't miss my guess, you're here to kill me too. Right on target, you say. Well, do you care to make it interesting? She asked. Should you beat me at a game, then I will allow you to kill me. In fact, I'll even kill myself. But if I win this game, then you will spare me my life. What's the game, you ask? The game, dear Ophelia, is the game of kings. You look at her blankly. The queens can play it too. Also, there are horses in it. Is it chess? You continue to look at her blankly. I'm talking. We're gonna have. Please don't make me actually play chess. I know how to play chess. Theoretically, I'm just really fucking bad at it. I can't. No, give me like 2 seconds. Okay. Well, you say, turning over the bloody sword in your hand. I mean, I could just kill you with my sword. Of course, she replies. And you could go to your grave, having never beaten a head of state at chess. Yeah, better not to have on your resume that you beat someone at chess so hard that they kill themselves. Gertrude's sarcasm is pretty pointed, I gotta say. But how good are you at chess, Ophelia? You should probably factor that into your decision, as I honestly have no idea how good Gertrude is at it. My bad. I guess somehow I never really thought these ridiculous circumstances would happen. I kinda wanna just kill her. I feel like we should just kill her. You stab her right in the soft parts, and human bodies are pretty much all soft parts. Queen to death 7, you say, which thinking it sounds kind of chess-like. I mean, it kind of does, I guess. Gertrude dies, and that means you will never get to play a game of chess with a head of state. On the other hand, it does mean you killed an entire town. That's something, right? You didn't even use a bomb or anything. You used your hands and swords and flexible sense of morality. Wherefore, look around. You look around, silence, the sun is coming up, and you can hear the birds chirping, and scattered throughout the town are bodies of the people you used to know. Gertrude, Rosencrantz, even that guy who was always hanging around at the coffee shop but whose name you forgot. You killed him too. Real quick, when you remembered him just now. Oh, wait, sorry. You killed him too real quick when you remembered him just now. Because best not to take any chances, right? Go to the royal court and sit on a throne, not because you want to be a regent, but because it is a very comfortable chair. Days turn to weeks, and you tend to spend a lot of time there thinking. Not much else to do, right? That's where you are later, lost in thought, when Fortinbras, Crown Prince of Norway, burst at the door along with some ambassadors. Hey guys, nobody showed up to meet my boat, so I thought oh my gosh, what happened here? Fortinbras says. Hey Fortinbras, you say, have you ever met a ghost who promised you great things in the afterlife if you try to kill me? No, he says, and in a lightning fast motion, you stab him in the throat. Let's keep it that way, you say. The ambassadors look at you in shock, and then they look at their own bodies in shock, because they are in shock after you cut off their heads from their bodies. Jesus. Congratulations, Ophelia, you killed everyone in this story. I mean, I'm literally totally out of characters for you to kill. This wasn't where I expected the story to go, but it was extremely a lot of fun seeing you take care of business like that. You live a long, albeit kind of lonely life, and although you are initially pestered by the ghosts of everyone you totally murdered, there's not much they can do once you start sleeping with the light on. And there's us having killed literally everyone. Sweet. Our stats. Stabs stabbed 10. Puns dealt 13. Tasteless sexism 1. Choices made 10. Times you were 1. Times you were not 1. Let's go back. Let's go back and see if we have to play chess. Background characters. Yeah, so we're just gonna do this again until we get back to that. And that's murder our family. Okay. Now let's see chess. Oh, I'll play your game, you say. Excellent, she says, motioning to her throne. Please have a seat. As you sit down and settle in, she quickly sets up a chessboard in front of you, pulling up another throne for the opposite side. She arranges the pieces with the air of someone who actually knows what she's doing when it comes to playing chess, which isn't the greatest sign for you. She's white, you're black. Since you're the one who barged in here, it's my turn to make the next move, she says, advancing her king's pawn up 2 squares. Ah yes, the queen's gambit, you say. That's not what that is, she says. You're kinda in over your head here, aren't you, Ophelia? Do we copy her move on our side? How can she beat an opponent who copies all her moves? Or move our king's bishop's pawn ahead 1 square? Let's copy her. You respond by copying her move exactly, moving your king's pawn up 2 squares too. Gertrude quickly jots down something on a piece of paper you hadn't noticed before. E4, E5, it reads. Beside it, she writes, copying my moves? Oh man, busted. I like to record my games, she says, for posterity. Oh, you say. Gertrude moves her queen diagonally as far as it'll go through the hole opened up by her pawn's movement. Queen to H5, she writes. She looks up and notices your attention. People say you shouldn't use your queen too much in the early game, but what can I say? I love being a queen. Also, I love using them in chess, she adds. Your move, Ophelia. I think we should just keep copying her. You bring out your queen, so mirroring her move perfectly. She moves her queen back 1 square and take your queen. You've lost your queen in 2 moves. This isn't going well for you, Ophelia. This isn't going well for you, Ophelia, Gertrude says, plagiarizing me, but come on, it's not like she could know. I'll save you some embarrassment and tell you that the rest of the game doesn't go well for you either, and at the end you are down to your king and a pawn. Gertrude, on the other hand, has been toying with you and managed to promote all her pawns to queens, giving her a total of 9 queens. Here's how the board is set up. Amazing. We are doing so good. Ophelia, the most impressive thing is that you managed to even get yourself into this position. It's not easy to end up so screwed in natural play. It's sincerely impressive in its own way. But it is. Checkmate. Richard looks at the board, looks at you, and smiles beautifully. Checkmate, she says. You look down at the board, trying out all the possibilities you can see. She's right, there's no move you can make, you've lost. Looks like you don't get to kill me after all, she says, flipping the table. Attached to the underside of the table are 2 short swords that she grabs in midair. She takes a swipe at you, which you dodge. What the hell, you ask? You can't kill me as per the terms of our agreement, but we never agreed that I couldn't kill you. You each should draw your sword. No, be careful with that, Gertrude says. You wouldn't want to cut me. I could die from an infection. Put the sword back in its sheath. You put the sword away, and Gertrude continues pressing her attack. You fight back, passively dodging all you can, finally dodging your way out through a window and backflipping to the ground below. Find you, Gertrude yells after you. There was no time limit on our promise. I'll continue trying to kill you until the day I die. Of natural causes, she adds. You spend the next several days dodging her attacks and traps. They get progressively more ingenious until one day you break a twig in a forest, which sends a log careening towards the stack of logs, which knocks the logs over like dominoes, which sends a boulder down a hill and off a cliff, which hits a seesaw, which sends another boulder up in the air, which comes down on your head, killing you instantly. Nailed it, Gertrude yells. Man, I knew that had a small chance of working. Plus 66 quadra points. So, your final score is 66 quadra points and one passive aggressive gift of a book called Sherlock Holmes Teaches You How to Get Less Stinky at Chess already. Don't worry about that one, Ophelia, it's on me. And there's us getting killed by a boulder. Stabs, stabs, 10, puns dealt 13, choices made 11, times you were 0, times you were not 1. Let's go back. In which Ophelia decides to play chess. Here we go. This time, let's move the pawn. She writes e4, f6, and she's noted the words, oh man, seriously? Wow, maybe she's impressed. I mean, that is a really optimistic way to look at things. Gertrude moves her queen's pawn out 2 spaces, so it's standing beside her other one. She's building a wall of pawns. But she's overlooked the fact that when pawns are side by side, they can't defend each other as well as if they're in a zigzag pattern. What's she doing? Doesn't she realize? d4, she writes. Build a wall too, but make mine zigzag. You bring up your horsey's pawn 2 spaces to form the first step of a zigzag wall. Gertrude raises her eyebrows. Congratulations, she says. You have managed to lose the game in the shortest possible time. 2 moves. It is impossible to lose at chess any faster. There's no way for you to be worse at this game. Amazing. Be the worst possible chess player. Not true, you say. I could be worse if I didn't know how the pieces move. Gertrude writes down queen d5, then moves queen diagonally as far as it'll go, putting it beside your pawn. The thing is, I'm not convinced you haven't been guessing your way through it so far, but it doesn't matter anyway. Dude, I'm pretty sure that's checkmate. So, let's go back. Let's make a straight wall. You bring out your horse's pawn in a single square, building a solid wall. Gertrude writes down your move, which is apparently g6. After she writes the note, like straight lines, she notices you reading her notes. Do you like straight lines, she asks. Maybe I do and maybe I don't, you answer in a way you hope could one day be described by an impartial party as coyly. Gertrude sighs and brings out her bishop's pawn to form a straight line on her side too. Here's a straight line for you then, she says. Because straight lines are so unstoppable, you have totally cracked the chess code. On her paper she writes f4. You think she's making fun of you. I think she's making fun of you, and now that I think about it, straight lines aren't super great. Diagonal lines are where it's at, because if your opponent takes one of your pawns, that piece is guaranteed to be taken by another pawn. If you can move your own guy up, you can make a diagonal line in one move. Surprise her with a diagonal line. Bring up your horsey's pawn in another space, forming the first steps of a zigzag wall. Gertrude raises her eyebrows. Congratulations, you had managed to invent a new variation of an existing chess move. Oh wow, really? You say, super excited? Yep, she replies, it's called the Fool's Mate. You figured out a way to make it even more foolish because you took just slightly longer to get mated than necessary. She writes down queen, d1, h5. Moves your queen diagonally as far as it'll go, putting it beside your pawn, and oh snap, you just got schooled at how to win at chess. By that I mean Gertrude totally beat you down, you lose. Okay. What else can we do? We do this, and we keep building straight lines, maybe? Gertrude humors you and allows you to move each of your pawns forward 1 square so you can form your little straight line. In the meantime, she solidifies her pawn structure into what you would call a modified Sicilian formation. But come on, what do you know about chess? Advances her other pieces, takes control of the center board, and generally dominates the rest of it too. You lose in 10 moves. On the second last move, Gertrude admits to being a little embarrassed it took her that long. Guess I felt sorry for you, she says. I was like, no way she's this bad. No way I cannot conceive of a world where even an amateur is this terrible at a game with rules this simple. Oh well, she says. Checkmate. Okay. Um, okay. Guess we could copy her. Then my knight. A logical defense, Gertrude notes. Yay, you did a good move, I guess. Whoops. No, no, no. Gertrude picks up her right-hand bishop and sends it out so it's parallel with your horsey guy. BC4, she writes, and looking up at you, she says, hey, now my queen and bishop are both threatening that pawn in f7. You should probably save that little guy. Wait, I see what she's doing, Ophelia. She's trying to mess with you. You can't move the pawn out of the way because then you'll be in check from the queen, but you can defend it. Maybe that's just what she wants you to do, and instead you should attack her queen that's causing all these problems for you. But on the third hand, I don't know much about chess, actually. Haha, whoops. Um, let's see what happens if we protect the pawn. Not bad, smirks Gertrude. I thought I'd get you with the scholar's mate there. That is thematically appropriate, as I used to be a scholar's mate, you say. Until the king's brother killed the king and assumed the throne, so he killed him and ghost mandated revenge. Then his ghost came back and convinced everyone else to kill us, and they got Hamlet, but I escaped and decided to kill everyone before they could kill me first. Yes, I do understand your motivation. Gertrude sighs, bringing out one of her horses and bringing it into play. You mirror it, bringing out your horse as well, Gertrude writes, and then looks up. You seem to copy my moves when you're not sure what to do. This isn't actually the first game of chess you've played, is it? You say. But then in a surprise move, the game proceeds from there pretty well, actually. You exchange pieces of equal value most of the time until finally you're in this position. Gertrude has the advantage, but it's your move, Ophelia. You can still win this. But you can still also lose this. You can still lose this really easily, actually. Okay. Move the pawn forward or move the king away. See the picture again. No. I want to see the picture again. Why can't we take... If we're moving the pawn forward, that means we're not taking the castle. Why wouldn't we take the castle or move the king away? I don't fucking know. What happens if we move the pawn forward? Nice try, Gertrude says, but you're not promoting that pawn. Gertrude moves her castle to match your king's position. Check, she says, while writing down her notes. You have to get out of check, Ophelia. You need to fix this lady. It looks like the only way you can do that is by moving your king. You can either move down towards the pawn or up away from it. Move towards the pawn. Moves her rook to match this time. You're in trouble now. Move away from that pawn and I'll take him and you lost. But stay close and I'll sacrifice my rook to take him anyway. The best you can hope for is a draw. I only understand some of those words you shout and then you study the board. Go for the draw. You move your king to stay close to the pawn, and Gertrude moves her rook to take it. You take her rook with your king, and yep, that's it. You're both down to a king each. Nobody can win with just a king. It's a tie. You've tied. That's something. In fact, it has a special name. Stalemate. Wait a second. You guys didn't figure out what would happen in the event of a tie. You slice off one of her arms. You said you wouldn't kill me, Gertrude exclaims. You'll live, you say. Well, it's super awkward to be the only two people in town, especially when that town is full of dead bodies, but especially when the only other person alive is the newly one-armed mother of your old boyfriend. You manage. Fortinbras, the Norwegian crown prince, shows up a while later, finds all the decaying bodies, and pronounces it super gross, so you cut off his arm too. Not so strong in the arm now, are you? You say, but nobody laughs because multilingual puns are like that. People usually don't get them. I don't know what to tell you, this is the world we live in. Oh crap, I almost forgot. Later on you die of old age, the end. And there's us with our arms that we cut off, the queen, the crown prince of Norway. Pawns dealt. 1. Choices made. 7. Times you were 1, times you were not. 0. Rosencrantz's 1, Guildenstern's 1. Okay. Are there any other ways that this chess game can go? Or have we... Can we win at chess, I guess is the question. Copy her. And so we do. What about this? You bring forward your pawn, and in response, Gertrude retreats her queen right over to the other pawn you moved out earlier, capturing it. Oh, and check. She says, darn it, Ophelia, what are you doing? This game is really important. There's no place you can move your king to safety, but you can block the queen with a few different pieces. Any piece you offer, you're likely to lose, though, but you don't really have a choice. Let's block with the bishop. Move the piece to intercept, but Gertrude ignores it and moves diagonally to take your castle. Should have noticed that. You totally should have noticed that, too. Gertrude writes, and man, you wish you knew what those letters and numbers meant, and now you're down 2 pieces, and one of them was a good one. It's hard to recover from this loss, but to your credit, you actually do alright. As the game goes on, you fight valiantly, but eventually your pieces are reduced to your king and a single pawn. Here's the board. Okay. Wait. So she has 2 pawns and I have 1? Hmm. Be careful, there's no way to win at chess if you're just down to your king. That 1 pawn you've got is worth its weight in gold, and losing it will absolutely cost you victory. There are 3 moves you can make here. Move the pawn ahead 2 squares, move the pawn ahead 1 square, or move the king back a square. See the picture again. Need to see the picture. If we move the pawn up 2 squares, it'll get taken. We move it up 1 square, probably won't do anything. Or we can move this one back 1 square. Let's move it ahead 1 square and see what happens. Moves her king forward 1 square. The only non-suicidal move open to you is to move your king down a square 2, which you do. She counters this by moving her pawn down 1 tile. And again, you're left with the only one option, retreating your king. And boy, I hope these notations make sense to you, because if not, haha, wow, we are screwed here. Gertrude advances her pawn again, and again there is no option for you but to retreat, which you do. Fall back. Gertrude takes your pawn with your king, and that's it. You've got no more pieces left. Lost. Remember when I said you can't win chess with just a king? I wasn't lying. It's a real rule, and I'm sorry, but I don't make the rules. As far as I know, the rules were made thousands of years ago by kings or whoever. Anyway, they're all dead, but we're still going to do what they told us to. Gertrude makes a few more moves to get her pieces in place, and then it's checkmate, okay? Lost. How can we win at this game? Let's try attacking the queen this time. She looks at you and smiles. Did you know, she says, that not only have you lost, but you've lost in the fastest way possible? I'm actually kind of impressed. Moves her queen to take the pawn she was threatening. Wow, we lost already. I'm gonna give you 15 points for losing so quickly, but I don't think that's gonna help, like, at all. Okay, well, that didn't work. Whole queen thing is a distraction. Move my other horse, what is threatening her bishop. Let's try that. That'd be a decent move, she says, if you weren't about to lose. That'd be decent trash talk, you reply, if trash talk bothered me, which it doesn't. Oh well, she says, and she moves her queen to take the pawn it was threatening. That means you lose, okay? This sucks. Okay, we suck at this. Okay. What if we move the king away this time? check. You keep this up, moving your king up to get out of check as Gertrude moves her pace, putting you back in check. But you've run out of road. Any more moves forward, and Gertrude's king will put you in check. At this point, you've written down k to b4, r plus, and k b3, r d3. What do you do? Chess is hard, man. I really wish I could help you. I really do. But while all the cool kids were outside playing chess, I was cooped up inside studying how to make imaginary people say things. They called it creative writing, but they never warned me it would end up like this. First course. Rather than or you back your king up, but rather than following with her rook, Gertrude moves her king forward. You're not in check for once, so you take this chance to promote your pawn to a queen. Yes, you say, as Gertrude writes down your move. How's that taste, Queenie? Oh, it's okay. Shame she can't help you win, though, she says, moving her rook to stand between the two kings. Move your king to the right, and she moves her rook to follow. You move your king back to the left, so rook to follow you again. Oh, crap. She can keep you in check for as long as she wants, and if you move to the left, she'll take your queen after you move out of check, so your queen is useless after all. What a waste. Wait, isn't there a rule that if you repeat the same move 3 times, you can call the game a draw? Let me check. Hold on, I've got a rule book for chess here somewhere. Just a second. Just a sec. Okay, yes, there is such a rule. So that's what you do, sending your king back and forth over again. After 3 repetitions, you declare a draw. Nicely done. Stalemate, but we already ended in stalemate before, so let's see what else we can do. Move the king away to the left instead. You swerve your king towards Gertrude's castle rather than have it captured. Gertrude moves it 1 square backwards. This is your opportunity, and you take it. You move your pawn towards the finish line, and as if by magic, it is now a queen. Write that down in your little book, you say triumphantly. Okay. She writes it down with a little frowny face next to it. I don't think she's happy, Ophelia. You've got her now. Suddenly, it's like the board opens up to you. You can read it. Possible features reveal themselves to you. In one brilliant moment, you realize that if Gertrude moves her king, you can move down your new queen and put her king in check, and checkmate won't be far away. And if she doesn't move her king, then you can move your queen over and put her king in check from the edge of the board. Anticipating your strategy, Gertrude moves her castle to the edge of the board. It doesn't matter. Nothing she does can stop you now. You bring your queen up next to your king, putting her in check. Your only option is to move the king down 1 space, and then you move your queen right up to the king. And hey, that's checkmate. Did we win? Suddenly, those chess symbols Gertrude has been writing down make sense. You're stunned to realize you've actually been using them yourself this entire paragraph. Julia, I think you just leveled up at chess, and you beat Gertrude so badly that she now has to kill herself. Yes, I definitely think you just leveled up at chess. What do you mean, beat Gertrude at chess? Okay. We did it. I don't know how, but we did. Give me like 2 seconds. Okay. We just won at chess. Wow, Gertrude says, you won fair and square, though I can't help but feel like we could play that game again 10 more times and you'd lose each time. Yes, we did that already. Maybe, but not this time, you say, probably because I just leveled up at chess. Why are you killing everyone? Gertrude asks, obviously trying to delay her own death. You know why, you say. The ghost of King Claudius has promised everyone great rewards and powers in the ghost afterlife, but only if they die trying to kill me. As such, he's turned everyone against me. Yes, but by killing them, aren't you dooming yourself to be haunted by ghosts for the rest of your life? I don't care if I'm haunted by ghosts. I'll cut them. I'll bust them up, you say. You glance down at your bloodied sword and fists. Busted makes me feel good, you add. Well, a deal's a deal, Gertrude says. I promise I'd kill myself. She stands up to do just that. Be sure to tell everyone that you beat someone at chess so badly that they died, she adds. That was kind of the whole point of that chess game, you reply. After Gertrude's dead. No, I'm not telling you how it happened. You are a sicko for even wanting to know. What is wrong with you? Also, you murdered a whole town, and that's rude too, now that I think about it. You're left alone and successful in your mission. Who has 2 thumbs and killed everyone in Hamlet, you ask? Again, meaning to say a Hamlet or this Hamlet, but misspeaking and miscapitalizing at the same time. Nobody answers because they're all dead. Me, you tell them. The end. A few days later, you move a couple of towns over and start a new life as a professional chess player. I know. This is a pretty good ending, all things considered. And there's us. Being good at chess and killing everyone. Did it. Okay. Choices made 6. Times you were 1. Times you were not 0. Bears married. Bears married 0. Times borrowing slash lending 0. Let's I want to check out some of the artworks we got, and then maybe call it a stream. Oh, where are they? This one is by Brian McLaughlin, the creator of the hilarious out loud comic The Princess Planet. He also likes to ponder what makes comics work. Like on the tutorials on his website or in his book, draw out the story 10 secrets for creating your own comics. And we've got The Boulder by Emily Partridge, an artist from the Pacific Northwest, and you can totally tell she makes cartoons and comics and illustrations and painting and arts and crafts and stuff. This was us getting killed by our family, actually. That's by Evan Dom, lives in Brooklyn, and is from Asheville, North Carolina. Since 2006, he has been making over-ambitious fantasy comics and putting them online at riceboy.com, including Riceboy Order of Tales and Vatu. He is left-handed. Okay, this one is by Ray Fox, the creator and illustrator of graphic novel One Soul and the Possession series, as well as writer of Constantine, Justice League Dark, and other books for DC Comics. Okay. This one is by Jeff Jacques. Does the internet comic strip questionable content when he isn't drawing that he is playing guitar or petting a dog? Okay. That. Yeah, that was all of them. And I think we got a couple of achievements this time as well. So this one got Queen Me for winning at chess, right? Yeah, beating Gertrude at chess. We got the Stairmaster for pushing Rosencrantz and Guildenstern down the stairs multiple times. 2 moves. Be the worst possible chess player. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Okay. That'll be it for now. So we lost at chess a bunch of times, and then we won at chess once, and then so I think there may still be more options as far as being Ophelia. Next time we'll go back to her and Hamlet plotting murder. I think that's where we left off on that. Yeah, so next time we'll murder some more people, I guess. Okay, goodbye. Have a good night.